All right. All right. Looks like we are live and in person. Well, folks, welcome to the Rookie Reset. And I am your host, Andrea Fitzgerald. I'm an author, speaker, and an educator, and also a person that's really committed to helping new teachers because oftentimes new teachers quit too soon just because they're not necessarily getting the support they need. So, what we do here on the Rookie Reset is to provide you with practical tools, tips, and strategies to hopefully help you reset your class. Because Lord knows, my first year, I just was not even ready for all that went into teaching. But yet, I was asking myself every day, was I the wrong profession? So, what we do here is hopefully provide you with tools. So, hopefully, you don't have the same experience that I have. You are more prepared than me. So today we are going to talk about, yes, I want you to get your Amazon wish list, but make sure you do not forget this one thing right here. So I have been recently, hold on a second, let me make sure I got my text set up. But I have been recently talking to people in some of these what do you call them? Those books, not those books, those groups. I talk to people in the new teacher groups, and what I see people that's like, oh my gosh, tell me what supplies I need, tell me what I need for my classroom, tell me, I want to get my Amazon wish list, and I want you to get your Amazon wish list too. But the one, and let me not say but, and also don't want you to forget this, because I think when I think about my experience as a teacher, gosh, I knew my content. I knew all the things with to write my lesson plan and stuff like that. But what I did not know was about culture and relationships. And it's my belief that culture and relationships are the heart of your classroom. Because if you think about it, the size of our heart, it is the size of a fist, but it is the most important organ in our body. And when it's not operating properly, number one, we don't feel like we're in our best. But also, once it stops, like that's it. So similar thing to in our classroom. Culture and relationships I talked about last week, it is the oxygen of our class. It literally sets the tone for everything else to take place. I know for me, that was like the biggest challenge. Like I talk about that first year that, this one day I almost quit because I called inside of my own classroom, y'all. And I was having challenges every day. I was screaming, I was yelling, and I was not getting the results I wanted because I did not take the time to understand what my students were experiencing. So today I want to share with you 5 tips to help you uh, establish heart, i.e., relationships and culture in your own classroom, because you want to consider. I think I had Dr. Precious on a podcast recently, and she talked about the above the line, below the line. Like, yes, you want to execute on the strategies, you want to knock it out. And I even find that to be a challenge for myself, because I come from, I'm an athlete. This is the tactic, this is what you do, this is how you get results. But now it makes sense to me that if I don't explore what's underneath the surface, the human stuff, the feelings, the emotions of why I do certain things, then certain behaviors don't change. That's why I have a therapist on my team, on my executive team consistently, because I need someone to help to push me in those areas. I know I'm sometimes like very technical. Just tell me to do this, and then that's when I'm gonna get results. And it doesn't always work like that. So I want to share with you 5 things to help you establish heart and culture in your classroom this school year, so that you are setting the foundation where learning can take place. So the plants, i.e., the students, they can grow because the conditions are right for that to happen. So we're going to start off with the first one is H. The H is high positive expectations. Now, I learned something in my role a few years ago, and it's called the Pygmalion effect. And really, the Pygmalion effect is about beliefs. If anybody knows what that is, drop that in the chat, Pygmalion effect. But I had said that for years. I was like, if you believe something, then it will manifest itself right in front of you. But the Pygmalion effect, I think a simple way to think of it is you may think your thoughts are secret, but they're not because they come out in your actions. And I believe that is true in our classes. My first year, I didn't believe the kids could do it. I didn't, y'all. I was biased as they come. And you know what? The students consistently showed that type of evidence to me. They showed it to me over and over because I did not believe they could actually do the work. And that's because it was my beliefs, it was my expectations. And so students will rise to the bar that we set. So there's a story of two classrooms, a tale of two classrooms, where expectations, I'm going to show you, they really matter. So in this classroom, there were these two classes. One had performed very well the previous year. Another set of students did not. And somehow the administration mixed up the files. So the teacher thought she was teaching the class of students who performed well, but she was actually teaching students who did not perform well, and vice versa with the other class. And so they get to the end of the year, and the results are astounding. The admin is like, oh my gosh, like what happened? These students didn't even perform well last year. What happened? And so they went and talked to the teacher, and the teacher, they asked her, they said, well, what happened? She said, well, I knew one way didn't work, so I had to find another one, because you told me in the beginning of the year, you said they were like some of the smartest students in the district. And that is similar to our beliefs. That is the impact of beliefs. The students who had not performed well because the teacher was willing to find solutions because she believed the kids could do it. And so it's really about believing in students. Now, this is not about, I'm going to challenge you so hard that you never, where I don't ever give you any wiggle room. I like to look at expectations as love, and love is a balance of challenging and support. Because when you're too challenging, you push people away, and when you're too supportive, you enable poor behavior. So you want to have a balance of both. Yes, I'm going to hold this standard very hard for you, but I'm also going to support you to get there. I'll stay after school with you. Hey, let's sit in a small group and work together. So we're looking at solutions. I'm still going to, support you to get there. I'm not just holding the bar and not giving you the help to get there. So high positive expectations. That's the H. The E is examine your biases. So something I recently learned, shout out, Dr. Precious, I just always got to give her a shout out because she be challenging me to grow and think, baby. But she said, she told me recently on that podcast, she was like, we never leave any situation empty-handed, like ever. Any experience we have, like we come with stuff from it, And so the stuff that I came with when I grew up, my teachers didn't allow me to use a calculator. And if we use a calculator, we were considered to be, air quote, weak. So when students asked me, my students needed to use a calculator, I was like, nah, you ain't using it. And I didn't think they could. And so I said, well, if you need to use a calculator, well, then you must be weak. You don't know how to do math. And so I judged them students. And you know what? They performed to going back to expectations to what I believed. I think I only had about 25% of my students proficient my first year because I didn't believe they would do it. My biases were impacting whether my students could learn. I wasn't looking at the calculator like, oh, this is a resource, a tool to help them do the mathematics. And so we have to really be willing to look within ourselves. And this is an ongoing process. It's like first thing is everyone has biases. It doesn't matter who you are. Like we come from different circumstances. It doesn't matter who we are. Like I'm a Black teacher and I still was biased as hell. Still. So against Black students. And but when I was willing to like be reflective and be like, ooh, yeah, that's probably, not equitable for me to think this way. So I had to make some adjustments in my thinking. And this is a process, like I said, it continues forever and ever and ever. And that is E, examine your biases. A is be authentic. So this is all about safety. You ever met somebody and you like, I don't know what it is, but I don't trust them. Like you can't even put a finger on it. Like you just like, I don't know what it is. It's just something that's not right here. Well, that rings true for us as well. One of the best ways to create safety with our students is being authentic. in the book, Culturally Responsive Teaching in the Brain, they talk about hold on a second. We good? Okay. All right. But in culturally responsive teaching in the brain, hold on a second, y'all. We be right back. Give me. And we back. Yeah. So you may have people you're like, I don't know what it is, but I don't trust the people. Well, that normally is because it does not feel genuine and does not feel authentic. In the book, Culturally Responsive Teaching in the Brain, that's what they say. They say if a student does not feel that we're being authentic, they will not ever feel safe from us. And more than likely, they will not learn from us. Like that's science right there. That if they don't feel safe with us, they won't learn from us. So it's really important to wait a minute. They say my speaker not working. Hold on a minute. Wait a minute.